Today is the 8th of March, the International Women's Day, so it's very wise of the organizers to have chosen that as a theme of the day.
It's extremely important to bring this message home in Africa in particular, to make the links between women's tobacco use, development and gender equity.
Women do smoke less than men around the world in general, but I think even then there's about 200 million smokers. And there's about 1.5 million deaths of women throughout the world, so it's not an insubstantial problem.
There are many countries where the rates for women are still tiny, like 1% and 2% and 3%, and I think there's some complacency about that. But we know from past history in other countries that that can rise very quickly and it can take decades to conquer.
The tobacco industry now tries to compensate for the loss in the men's market because they quit. So they go to the low-income countries and try to hook women. And we like to stop the epidemic before it has reached the level it used to have for the men.
In conservative communities, it is not acceptable for women to be using cigarettes. But it is quite acceptable for these women to be using tobacco products that had been traditional. Like water pipe tobacco or chewable tobacco. You should be focusing on other tobacco users in women in middle income and low income countries rather than cigarette smoking. Otherwise we will be making a big mistake.
There is a lot behind women from the tobacco industry who has targeted forever young women to start smoking with issues like, equality, with emancipation, with power, with sense of freedom.
Surely we have enough creativity amongst the tobacco control movement, enough resources, enough great ad agencies who can blend these messages to say not smoking is true liberation.
The impact of women is in terms of their own health, their own length of life, their own mortality. It has a big influence on their families and on their children who see a role model as a woman.
It will affect their unborn child. And not only the child during her pregnancy, but it affects 3 generations due to epigenomic changes.
We have to make sure that at conferences like this, women are in the decision-making roles. They're there on the committees, they're there as chairs, they're there as plenary speakers. Unless we keep women very core into organisations, into policy making, then regrettably the issues of women do tend to get sidelined.
It's not just a women issue, but it's the issue for health for everybody, for women, children and also men, and for the humanity as a whole.
Everyone has gender, and if we get much better research and separated statistics, then we can help everyone really in a much more tailored and focused way.
If women are not taking the lead to fight against the tobacco industry, who will do it on behalf of us?